over and over and over again.
And one Haven sprinkled in there just to keep us honest. But no, this should be a good one. XP3 walling off mid. Mid is going to be a heavy point of contention. You would argue that if you can control that, holy smokes, you can control the map. But Envy starting off hot with Calypso getting 2 kills early on. That 3. Things not looking great here. Down to 2 members on the side of Complexity. Envy still has some numbers to them. It sounds like the spike is going to go down. Yes, it is. This is a tough retake, but ohai is doing his best to keep it interesting.
It doesn't work out well for Complexity. Envy picks up the pistol. It started out strong with Calypso, who held down B while they went for an aggressive push. I'm sure they're thinking, maybe we shouldn't have done that there. Calypso capitalizes on the early economic advantage, goes straight to the Vandal, and the Phantom buy from FNS as well. They're not holding back. They are not pulling any punches. It's full force coming in from Calypso and FNS as we move into this second round. Calypso also selling the Vandal, favoring the Phantom. Not really all that surprised. It's rare you see players of this caliber, rocking the Vandal. But it will just be pistols coming out from NV. Doesn't really matter which rifle he's got, as it should be easy for him to mop up a few kills here if they should even cross paths.
Well, that was against a classic, but either way, that's first blood going in favor of Akis. XP3, oh my gosh, you can see his barrel. Oh, he opts to shoot, maybe a little bit too early. The Frenzy's not going to deal enough damage. Just shoot him in the hand, and that certainly isn't going to feel good, but it's not going to be enough damage to get a kill. Kaboose is able to get one with the Spectre. XP3, though, making it interesting, not interesting enough. As Calypso gets the best of him, it's going to be a 4-2 in favor of Envy. Complexity scrambling to try to get back to B in time, but it looks like the spike is going to get onto the site with relative ease. I wonder if they even, I guess they have nothing to lose here as they go for the play, but Kaboose is able to stop it in its tracks. He takes care of ohai, not realizing that the other one is just on the other side, but the sound was all he needed. The blast pack, special delivery, comm gets taken out.
This is where the rubber meets the road, though. This is the round we see a lot of teams lose after winning those early rounds. And again, no punches being pulled here from Envy. They go straight to the AWP for mummAy. Kaboose is the only one still on an SMG. He hasn't died yet, so you can't blame him for stacking that cash. Remember, AGM had the hot hand on Ascent. As of yet, a little bit cooler here on Split. Now, they're putting the Cypher over on A, not playing over towards B, which many teams would anticipate. You've got the Jet actually playing over towards B with the Raze as backup. The Sage playing super passive on mid. So they're pretty much surrendering mid control. We've seen this from a few teams who play more towards protecting Heaven and Ropes and surrender mid. So you can see that's what's happening right now with the Sage, and they've got Cypher utility in the Ropes. This is somewhat standard at this level of play to see a Cypher playing that Ropes trap and just giving up that mid control of vents. You see a group of bodies building up currently in the mailroom, and they'll get frozen out of position, which will delay the delivery of an attack towards the B site should they try to go that way. There's the wire being taken out inside the Ropes, and that'll create a rotate over now from the Stage. They've still got the Cypher who's up in Heaven. It's Frisco, but he won't have any backup, no support coming through. So if they clear this corner, it's not going to end well for Frisco. There's the double peek, though, and they catch him as he jumps. The problem is the spike is still moving towards B, and there's only one player on that side of the map. Currently, the Jet is rotating over, but the site is currently undefended.
Envy showing insane patience. Given everything that was happening on the other side of the map, they just waited at the wall the entire time. But again, ohai's going to be there. He's going to get walled off. 13 seconds left as as Kaboose and mummAy are able to get one apiece. mummAy with the op is able to get a second one as well. The spike did go down, but it's going to be a 3v2 in favor of Envy. And one member on the side of Complexity, the Sage, is dangerously low, but the spike is down. The positions are set. And this is a difficult retake no matter how you slice it. if you're Complexity, especially with the health disadvantage that you have there. He's able to heal himself up a bit, but you know what? They don't even want the heat. He said, you know what? Take it. You can have it. We don't want it. They might try to get an exit frag or two, but they are going to give up this round and live to fight another day. Hope.
Solid rounds coming out from Envy here on the attack. I love the way they played that. So, again, you mentioned it. And the massive exercise in patience as they saw two of their teammates fall in ropes trying to make their way into heaven, and they continued to just chill. They just held back behind that wall, waiting for it to break. And at that point, you had the Raze, AGM, pushed into B main. You had ohai playing back towards spawn. Sage wall comes in and the site's lost. Like, everything falls apart from there. It was really well played, and it was just good kind of awareness of positions coming in from them as well. You could see that kill coming out from the Raze ult towards spawn. mummAy striking with the op. Now, speaking of good awareness and nice shots coming out, it's Complexity who actually strikes first, and that'll mean no Raze coming in here for the side of Envy. That's Kaboose, by the way, who has been doing really well thus far. It's his first death here in the first half, coming in round number 4.
This time, a bit more of an effort around blocking off mid as the wall is aggressively put further up, and you see the tripwires on the other side. It's actually not in ropes. It's going to be up past the mailroom going into heaven on B side. So it's just a bit of an inverse, really, from how they played it in the last round, but it looks like so far the outcome has been the same. Numbers heavily in favor of Complexity. Envy with their 3-man group. Gonna wall off ropes. They're gonna push their way through mail into heaven. The problem is there are members of Complexity awaiting that. They know exactly where they are. AGM has spotted them. Gonna try to drop that blast pack, and the Sheriff not gonna deal enough damage. Comm and Frisco are able to get 2 apiece, and that's gonna leave 1 on the side of Envy, and that's Calypso. An impressive shot as he comes down from the top ropes to get a kill. Gets the second and the third and fourth. He's 1 kill away from the ace, and give it to him, baby! XP3 goes down. That's another round in favor of Envy. What a play from him.
This is a player who we were watching play against T1 earlier, and we were saying, man, this just doesn't feel like the Calypso we're used to. It's not working out well. Here, Calypso finds himself in an almost unwinnable situation. Just a few seconds left on the clock, and he's actually able to force out that 1v1 in his favor. Calypso just goes absolutely nuts as he dive bombs the site. He was the last one standing. Look at this. There was 13 seconds left, and there's still 3 players alive, and they're all around the site. How on earth does he manage to win this round? Goes for the bait plant with 7 seconds left, ends up winning that 1v1. Absolutely ridiculous play coming out from Complexity, or from Envy, excuse me. And I'm saying Complexity because they're the ones who are like, how do we lose that? How is that possible? How can that possibly happen given the way that everything broke down early in the round? At the very least, though, they do pick things up here as Comm gets the first shot out from the operator. But as I say that, the site gets lost. Port back into TV, or screens. Not going to work out so well, so they'll cancel that one as there's targets there, but intel has been gathered, so the wall will come through. Nade coming out from heaven, not going to do much to stop the plant, as it's around the corner and the nade doesn't go deep enough. So it's another post-plant scenario here for Complexity and Envy.
Yeah, the spike landed off in that corner back in A. Next is able to get one as Akis does as well. XP3, however, has shown up into the party, but it's not going to be around for long. mummAy gets a nice 2-piece at the end there, and Envy continue to run away with this thing. That ace that's the type of play that defines an entire half. Because it's not just about the economy implications that come from that, but the mental implications that come from it as well. The momentum swing that it comes as a result of a play like that. Calypso, you know he's feeling good right now. Envy's feeling good as well. And like you mentioned earlier on, if you're Complexity, like, how the heck did we lose that? No business losing that. And that can chip away at a mental, is even if for world-class players. So we'll see how that plays out. Right now, Envy is just laying it on Complexity and just stacking up round after round, up 5-0.
Yeah, that's definitely frustrating for the likes of Complexity. Envy looks so good right now. There's a nice shot coming out here. Again, it feels like the rounds they find the most success are with pistols. mummAy gets vertical with the knives, and that'll give them an advantage, but only for a moment as AGM again with the pistol, proving that they've gotten the prowess with lesser firearms. Calm inside the dark cover. He's actually inside the second smoke, so he's looking for his target. Can't quite find it. There's mummAy waiting on the other side to greet him as he dices him into a million pieces. There's the shot coming out towards backside as well from AGM. He's found 3 on the round. Somehow Complexity managed to make it work with pistols, but they gotta do it with rifles. They are having a hard time when they match up rifle versus rifle. We saw Calypso barely escape with a massive ace against pistols earlier in a 1v3 with 13 seconds left as he got onto the site. This time it doesn't work as well for Envy. They're not able to bail themselves out of that scenario. But still, that's the first round on the board for Complexity after 5 straight wins from Envy.
And you know, yeah, it was a pistol round and they did it with pistols. Those pistols and a showstopper as well. And even then, that went down to the wire. That went down to a 1v1 at the end there, so it easily could have gone either way, but very important for Complexity to get that round in their pocket. Very important for ohai to get that kill on his stat sheet as well, as Complexity manages to draw first blood here. They find themselves in a deep hole here up against Envy. As FNS drops, Akis says, that's fine. I've got Kaboose. I don't mind that. He's able to pick him up, but Calypso drops as well, and Complexity, they're making quick work of Envy here on this round.
Complexity waking up just a little bit late, but still putting up rounds here, and that's important. Again, we mentioned it, one of the most defensive-sided maps in the rotation. Calm sending some security shots down into mummAy just to be safe. Definitely dead. Kaboose picking off AGM, gets dropped a little low on HP. Calm's currently locking down ropes with an AWP, but shifts off that position, just not feeling comfortable holding it. So they've given up that spot. There's the heal coming in as well. The res coming out though. Calm with the quick flick up. Got one more target right around the corner. The damage to the wall is not going to be good enough. Calm with a 4K. Right now it feels like it's a bit of a battle of the omens, as we saw Calypso pick up the ace, and now Calm fires back with a 4K of his own. Calypso 8-4, Calm 7-5, as the double up look comes in from Complexity, and success is found off the back of that. The money right now for Envy not so great, so they'll spend down to a point in which they can buy up in the next. But again, 5 rounds on the board. They could honestly lose out the rest of the half, and this is still a good half.
Yep, we talked about that 7-5 number, and they've already hit that goal. At this point, it's just icing on the cake. Quick note, Envy does have a Guardian. It doesn't seem to matter. However, ohai and XP3 get the opening kills of the round. Akis works his way up on top of his wall as they jockey for mid control. XP3 is able to snap onto Akis and take him down, as the rest of Complexity really just picks FNS apart. It's a gun difference there for sure. mummAy, the last one standing on the side of Envy. He's got a Sheriff, and he's got that Guardian that we talked about early on. He's also got the Spike in a 1v5. Surely not. Yeah, okay, good. ohai takes him out. A flawless round. Complexity clawing their way back into this thing, and they've got to rattle off more here. They got to keep their foot on Envy's throat, so to speak.
Dang, that's vicious. They have to?
I said so to speak, right? It's not like actually put the foot in the throat. It's more of a metaphor.
Right now, again, that double op setup is working out well. Envy's put up decent numbers on the attack already. We talked about it coming into this when they played earlier on this map. We didn't really get to see Complexity on the defense, and in the first few rounds I was like, you know what, I'm honestly not impressed. But now they're starting to wake up. The pieces are starting to come together. Things are starting to click. I say that too as Tom picks one off early AGM spraying through the wall and the smoke, able to pick off Akis. More spam coming out. FNS is trying to just get out of this position as so many bullets are pouring through that wooden surface. They've got Calypso, who's lurking his way through the ropes. XP3 just doesn't have fear. The port's going to come in from Calypso. That's in ropes, and they know it, so they know he's ported past the tripwire. It doesn't seem to matter, though, as Calypso still somehow gets 2. It's down to ohai to save the day with the op. So a 4th round comes in from Complexity, but it does cost them quite a bit as it comes down to just 2 players.
Now let's take a look at the dollar situation here. Their portfolio. Complexity's got plenty of money. They have enough to run 2 ops. And they're fine. When it comes to money, they're fine. Envy, once again, find themselves in a situation where they have to mix by. The last time we saw them in this, it was Kaboose, who bought a Guardian that eventually got picked up by mummAy. This time, they are not doing anything like that. They're just going to totally save here as best as they can. A tough situation, but they'll try to do with what they have. You saw the ult from Omen get stopped there as the spike creeps its way up mid. It's going to be met with a wall, nice big icy wall, as FNS is also met with a couple of bullets this time from Frisco as he sits on the sideline for the rest of the round.
Where is everyone hiding?
There's the neural theft being popped to give away the positions. They know that a bulk of these bodies are currently built up in mid. You can see all of their focus is currently sent in that direction. Even the B players watching Heaven, now realizing, okay, nothing's coming through, let's watch B main. You're going to see the jiggles coming out from AGM. And there's the paranoia into sight. Does the nade come through quick enough? That's the question. Do they manage to get past this, though, as the ult is going to get popped by the jet? Everything's falling apart. Great defense coming out from Complexity yet again. They tried to dash their way into the site, and they just got diced to pieces by the defense of Complexity. Look at the money and where it's at right now. Credits at the maximum for Com. 7,900, 7,100, 67 and 6,900. When the lowest on the totem pole with cash at 6,700 in credits. That is definitely the signaling of a problem. But again, this is split to a T. It's how the map works. It's how you see it go time and time again.
Well, and look, they have the money that they have because they've won 5 rounds in a row. The other two, it was Envy who was also up 5 rounds in a row. So we were in a similar financial situation, and this was actually the point at which things started to turn. We'll see if Complexity is able to continue that momentum, continue to put things up with the money that they have, or if Envy is able to fight back and steal away another few rounds. Envy goes up. Kaboose tries to land the showstopper, but he misses. ohai does not miss with the op as he's able to get the kill. The spike still on the outside of mid as they're starting to creep way forward. Now AGM just casually takes out Calypso. Here's the second showstopper. AGM looking for a kill. Yeah, he's able to get one. Looking for the second one, and ohai is going to dash his way away. Or excuse me, mummAy, and he gets a kill on the way out. Are you kidding me?
He got a kill through the boxes the other way. They knew exactly where he was, and he just sent a shot out. I guarantee you, even though he knew he was going to die, there was like a little giggle that came out in the team comms after that shot came through. Just ridiculous that mummAy actually hits that one. Eventually taken down by AGM. Again, we mentioned it early on. He was a little bit slow to start as he was sitting at 0 kills after, I think, the first 3 rounds. But he's really turned things back around. Not quite matching his performance from that second map, but still a great game coming out from him. ohai actually wastes an updraft. What? Am I missing something? That was a little bit peculiar. Updrafts over top of the sign, goes for an aggressive peek, and it doesn't work out so well. His teammate has to kind of help out. And there's the wall coming in. They're going to go for the res, but still all of that is so strange. I love the awareness, though, from mummAy. So mummAy pops the ult, knowing that the res is coming through as soon as he sees the wall. Updrafts over the top, and he's just holding, floating in midair. A couple of knives come through the second the res completes. So much for that one.
No more charges left.
Res neutralized.
Heavy investment to keep ohai up after what seemed like a pretty aggressive mistake and it was all for naught. Calypso sitting on the sideline for the rest of the round as FNS has been spotted. The op is going to get a chance on FNS, and he's going to take him out. Now working his way onto the main site, but he's going to get met with the slicing and dicing of mummAy. But Frisco gets 2 kills to put them away and win the round. We talked about how Envy needed to get to 7-5 in order to keep this thing respectable. Complexity rattled off 7 rounds in a row. It should be worse than this. The score should not be 7-5. We should be talking 6-6 or maybe even 7-5 the other way. But either way, Complexity proving to be stalwarts there in the latter half of the first half.
Despite the fact that they lost those first 5 rounds, they didn't let it shake them. They started to build up that confidence after just a few rounds, and then they really steamrolled. The question, though, is what can they do on the attack? Because when they faced off against this team earlier, the answer, nothing. They won 2 rounds on the attack in the first best of 3 when they played on this map earlier. So the concern right now is Complexity needed to put up more than just 7 rounds, especially given that Envy is solid on this map and have been for quite some time. Definitely a little bit concerned right now for Complexity, regardless of the rebound in that first half. They have a serious hurdle to overcome here. As they're up only 2 rounds, that lead could be neutralized with a pistol round loss.
Yeah, these first couple of rounds really will dictate, in a lot of ways, the vast majority of the rest of the game. Kaboose is able to get 2 early on as AGM and ohai are taken out. Kaboose is notably worse for wear, though. He's going to have to get healed up to keep in this thing, but it doesn't matter as he gets a 3rd and mummAy gets the last 2. A flawless round, pistol round to boot from Envy. And you mentioned it, Boq. 1 pistol round, the round that follows, and all of a sudden that lead is gone. That certainly looks to be the case here.
Yeah, I mean, assuming they lose this round here, which, for all intents and purposes, they should. However, let's be fair. Their eco rounds looked really good. They would have won more of them if it weren't for Calypso's crazy ace clutch. Which, if you wipe that aside, you really see the differential there from top to bottom for the side of Envy. mummAy definitely was trying his best to try and deliver them from scenarios. There's the slow orb and wall coming out early. The nade as well is a little deeper than it needed to be. Jump shots coming out from them. Blast packs going out over the top. Great damage coming in from the Raze, but great damage dealt to the Raze, as it will be a kill going that direction. Akis finds 4. He's looking for the ace. We'll get 2 aces in the same game from the likes of Envy. Akis goes nuts. It was Calypso last time. This time it's the Sage as he stomps out the mid push and puts his team up with another round victory.
And there goes that lead that they worked so hard to build up, rattling off 7 rounds in a row, and just as quickly, it's gone. Knotted up 7-7 here. Again, folks, if you're just tuning in, you're tuning in at just the right time. This is the rubber match. This is the decider between Complexity and Envy as we play into map number 3, the Spike. We haven't seen it play a ton towards A. That seems to be the call this time, however, as it's a quick hit, but mummAy sniffs it out, stops it right in its tracks, at least for XP3, as he is taken out.
Blocking sight.
ohai
Blocking sight.
dropping Calypso in heaven as they push closer and closer. The wall is about to break in mid, and there's 2 players sitting just behind it. They'll have a pinch play on heaven, but they have to react quickly as there's still a Sage in B heaven, and there's a Raze in ropes, and they're not prepared for it. So this play is all over the place currently. Oh, that's awkward. FNS runs out of ammo, and it's literally just a jet straight in front of his face. It's going to be a 2-on-2 with a Spike over on the B site, and it's an identical 2-on-2 as well. A doppelganger 2-on-2. It's Jet v Jet, Raze v Raze. And a nice angle for AGM with the ADS will bring things down to just mummAy. He's got an op. It's a 1-on-2. We know what he's capable of with this scoped rifle, but both targets going to group up. Really well played from Complexity.
And that was good on good, right? You lose the pistol round, you lose the eco round, as you would expect. that's when you have the opportunity to, okay, put those rounds behind you. Let's continue to build off of the money that we have. And Complexity was able to do just that. AGM at 13-9, having a very good game, and it's really spread across the board. For Envy, on the other side, that is not the case. You don't expect a Cypher to light up a scoreboard. You do expect FNS to be putting up better than 3-11 on the stat line. Nonetheless, Envy still find themselves just down one round here in this decider. Complexity just taking the lead, and it looks like they're going to be another push onto A. mummAy just kind of lets him walk by. They don't have a judge sitting in the smoke, and he's not able to get the kill. XP3 gets the best of him with the better gun, and mummAy drops.
Calypso picking off Frisco. And the Omen port comes in just in the nick of time as the nade was literally on top of his head. So as it pops and blooms out, he'll dodge the damage. Right now the spike pushed in towards vents. There's a Sage right now in mailroom. Again, this round is all over the place. You've got a Jet in heaven on A, but you've got Akis here trying to lock down B. One and done for him, given the shotgun in that position. ohai finds one as well. Now on the backstab towards spawn. FNS has to go huge. Doesn't work out so well for him. It's all up to Calypso. He's done great things for this team in the past, but this one seems likely out of the question as he's across the map from where the spike's about to be planted.
He's also got a dope skin, so you wonder, like, do you really want to... Do you want to lose the gun? You potentially, especially if it was one that was picked up. Maybe he didn't have that skin early on. It looks like he is going to save. Folks, I want to take this opportunity to update you guys on what's happening elsewhere at the Faze Invitational. Lemonade Stand and Gen G went the distance. They went all the way to Game 3, and Gen G emerged victorious 13-11, sending Lemonade Stand and Built by Gamers as well out of the tournament. Sentinels and Gen G both advance in Group A. And in Group D, this is a spicy one, Faze Clan and China Win are currently tied 1-1 in Game 3. So that one also going the distance. It was China Win who loses the first map 13-3. Yikes. But then they win the second one 13-6. So that one certainly seems like it's electric and it's going down to the wire. Some spicy games across the Faze Invitational. And folks, it's just day one. We haven't even gotten to the good stuff. This has been an incredible tournament thus far.
By the way, speaking of that China Win series versus Faze Clan, Faze picked up the first map 13-3 on Bind, and then on Ascent, they got not necessarily crushed, but it was 13-6. So a bit of a back and forth volley for Faze Clan's debut with this 5-man roster. Early on, we see ohai picking up multiple kills in mid as they try to get aggressive. They're only on pistols, so it's an understanding position to find yourselves in. FNS right around the corner with a frenzy. That's a freebie as AGM was distracted by the player in heaven. Good awareness as well from the Cypher to get up close and personal to the ropes. That's FNS who's in position. Actually goes up top. So I thought for a second he was going to hold the ropes, decides to climb all the way up. But look at the flank coming through from mummAy. Does he get there in time? No! Oh, it's so brutal. It's so punishing. Not able to find an upgrade either as they make their way through and the wall is down. Oh, he is absolutely crushed and frustrated right now as he worked his way all the way through A, through sewers, to go for that flank only to get cut off.
And at this point, do they even try to get back over to A? Do they try to take it back? You've got the numbers disadvantage. You want to try to keep the weapons, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Envy opting to give up this round and give Complexity a 3-round lead, 10-7. But in the name of keeping guns and keeping economy as best as they can in their pocket. I wanted to give you guys another update, this time from Group B. TSM advance as they take care of Renegades in Game 2, 13-6. That means from Group B, the first seed coming out of there is going to be Cloud9, and then the second seed is going to be TSM. They recover after getting bested by Cloud9 to take care of things. And then in Group D, while we're talking about it, Immortals advances, and it's actually 100 Thieves who's out of the tournament. They go 0-2, so yikes. If you're a fan of 100 Thieves, that roster just continues to kind of flail, and it has not delivered. You know, you talked about Eco and the high ground guys, and you know whether or not that was going to work. It just continues to struggle. They haven't been able to get things going.
I'm going to be honest, man. Vegas is in chat. I feel like this team had so much mojo going for them as a 5-man roster, and that fell apart. I don't think it's Hiko's fault necessarily. I feel like that's unfair. No. But I feel like this, whatever was working for them isn't working as well with this 5-man roster. At this point, the only thing 100 Thieves is stealing is spots that would be better served for someone else. Because they are struggling. Every event they play in, it's just like, man, I keep waiting. I keep hoping that this is the time. Like, I want to see that high ground dominance that we saw in the early stages, in the beta stages of the game, and it's just not coming together. So I don't know what the solution is. Honestly, if you're 100 Thieves, like something might have to change. And I feel like that's really quick to make that statement, but like, it's just not working. It's not like it's kind of working. It's not working at all.
It's not working at all, just like that showstopper. Didn't work from Kaboose. Shoots a little wide, not able to deal any damage. mummAy with the op, however, is going to have much more success. XP3 is going to start pushing his way up to heaven. The spike has been tripped. See the Cypher on your mini-map. Was in ropes. He's going to back out and rotate his way over. Maybe a little bit of an okie-doke, if you will, trip that wire over there and try to lead them, to think that that's the way you're going, but they've rotated back onto B. The problem is they're walled off. XP3 is able to take care of Akis, however, and the spike's still just patiently waiting up in heaven.
Right above that wall, you've got Calm as well. Kaboose wants to go for the peek. Will he be able to line him up? Uh-oh, this is getting awkward now as he falls down into the site. Able to pick up one, just has to delay, but can't delay enough. As the kills come through on him and mummAy, the site's been lost. The spike will be planted. It's a 2-on-2. And there's the neural theft being popped as well. So you can see XP3 sitting in hell currently, but potentially set in that direction anyway, as the afterlife will be what waits for him as he's now down to a 1-on-1. Calypso gonna go with the paranoia, and it's just enough to give him an opportunity to drop into sight. It'll be a round for Envy, but one they barely survive as 4 players fall. But it's number 8 that goes on the scoreboard.
They say close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and that does not mean that Valorant is in that bucket. It was close, but the win is the win. Envy putting up an important one there to bring the deficit down to 2 rounds. mummAy is coming alive, which is ironic because he's a mummAy, of course. But 17 and 11, he's got the op. He's starting to put up better numbers here. And if you're Complexity, you feel like this is starting to get away a bit, right? Like you rattle off your 7 rounds, you give up the lead that you worked so hard to build, and then the second half has just been back and forth. We're knotted up at 3 apiece here. So there's certainly no, I won't say no, but you don't feel super confident here. But the nice thing is, you don't need to feel confident before the game is over to determine the outcome. The spike creeping its way up A, and it looks like it's going to be a hard hit there. Calypso's able to get one as ohai drops. The spike has not made its way onto the site. The tripwire gets taken out as Akis works his way up in heaven trying to deal some damage. ohai is up there as well. The spike, again, still low, and it looks like it's getting the heck out of dodge.
AGM. Able to take out mummAy, instantly traded. It's a back and forth volley that sees Envy with the advantageous position. They find themselves at a 4-on-2. You've got Calypso currently back behind Blue. He's in sight, and the peak isn't wide enough. Jiggles out and gets spotted. And just like that, it's down to a 2-on-2. So sight control's lost, and things fall apart really quickly. Calm hears the footsteps coming through from sewers. Has to be careful, though, as there's one coming from ramp as well. Has to position himself perfectly if FNS wide clears this. Yeah, there you go. Doesn't even have to really wide clear. Thought he was going to go into that corner. He doesn't. Kaboose catches XP3 as he sneaks into the dark cover. So it was surprising to see Complexity gain sight control, but even more surprising is how easily Envy gets back onto it.
Well, and XP3 played that so well, right? They they caused all that ruckus, the cacophony that took place over on A, and then you saw him very quietly just grab the spike and say, you know what, I'm out, peace. Start to rotate back, and it's just delayed for a few seconds, but it's just long enough to make Envy think that they're going back to B. Then he scoots his way back onto the site. They're able to get onto A and have control, but again, like you called, it was just so well played out of Envy that they were able to take the site back and get the kills that they needed to put the round up. Now, 1 round of a deficit. Complexity really kind of falling apart like we predicted in Calypso, adding insult to injury as he's able to get the opening frag. AGM is going to come right back up after taking a quick visit to the sideline. The spike outside of A, but it has not been a hard commit, folks. This is early, but keep an eye on the mini-map. You see that Raze rotating his way all the way over to mid. That may prove to be a problem, but if Complexity continued to rotate back through spawn, it may not matter. Well, it's the same play from the last round. They make it look like they're rotating out, but they're just going to double down on it. Omen's the only one who's going to continue to flank around, see if he can get a kill on anyone lurking or trying to rotate over to pinch them in. But this is probably the longest we've gone without a kill going down. We're down to 45 seconds left on the clock. Both teams still have all 5 members, but mummAy's about to get his chance, and it looks like ohai and AGM. He's also going to have the Bladestorm in his back pocket if need be. But the clock is ticking. They're going to have to bust a move here pretty soon. They can't sit on this for much longer.
Still in sight. Watch.
There's the smokes coming out towards A, but it's a fake. Just trying to bait them in. You've got the ult being popped by Omen, and I don't think they heard this one. They don't, so Calm comes through on the backstab. It's instantly traded out. It's a back and forth volley. Time was of the essence, but it didn't even matter anyway. Envy comes out on top of a lot of the one-on-one exchanges as the battle just comes to a collision in heaven. 10-10. All tied up here as we get to the tail end of this second half. It's a battle for dominance on the scoreboard right now. AGM, 16 kills, 14 deaths. ohai just behind, 16 and 13. 18 and 13 right now for mummAy. No one's really having like a crazy game like we saw in the last map when AGM had a 17 kill first half. It feels like more of an even distribution, but we've seen big rounds come out from multiple people. We've seen that ace clutch from Complexity. We saw a 4K clutch. We saw an ace clutch from Akis as well. Of course it was an eco, so it wasn't as big. There's the res coming out early as ohai picks off mummAy. They try to keep him up, but no, mummAy dashes straight into the wall. Not only does he get stunned from the concussion he likely got bashing his forehead against that icy wall, but he's taken down by the opposition as well, so the res does not really work out so well. It's nullified. Through the smoke, ohai follows the tracers. Now prepared for FNS, who's in this position. Things are getting a little bit crazy right now as FNS finds 3, make it 4! FNS locks down mailroom and says, no mail will be delivered today. It's an 11th round for Envy on the board.
Unbelievable. Envy rising back from what seemed like the dead as Complexity rattled off and closed off that first half. But look at FNS once again. Easy one tap onto XP3, and then he hunkers down, and just puts up a firing squad that just takes apart all of Complexity. 4 clean kills there. It was a beauty to watch, and Envy off of that play take the lead. Complexity again just continues to fall apart. You hear the showstopper that's going to come out. Kaboose is not going to connect onto anything, but they need a spark. They need a spark. Complexity needs something to get back things going their way, but it doesn't seem like they're able to come up with anything at this point. Envy just looks too good.
On an individual level right now, they're stepping up, but as I say that, AGM gets the first pick. The showstopper actually hits the wall. It doesn't go through. He's got all the time in the world to toss that nade out, but it gets a little bit awkward as FNS has found 2 now on the round. And again, it's an advantage here for Envy as Complexity is reduced now to just Calm, who's spotted out by the camera. FNS goes dive bombing towards B main. Doesn't work out so well for him. Calm in a 1v3 now, started as a 1-on-4, tries to sneak past the dark cover in B main. 12 rounds now on the board for Envy, one away from moving on to the playoffs and eliminating Complexity.
An impressive 5 rounds in a row here from Envy and Boq. What is it that's working? What's working so well for Envy right now?
Here.
What's working for Envy right now is literally just individual play. It's not exactly clean, it's not exactly smooth, it's really sloppy in general. Like, sometimes these rounds are just falling apart, but they have a player who's bailing them out. Like, round where mummAy died mid, got res, died again. FNS bails him out with a solid individual play. It was a little bit of support that came in, to be fair. So there was the dark cover that came in, they had to push past it, he goes for the ult pop. That, to be fair, was good. It was just awkward, though, the whole way everything just kind of converged in the mailroom. Here, though, it's going to be a 4-on-3 advantage again for Envy, as they've lost the Jet on their side. It's mummAy going down. They hear the footsteps in sewers. That's where the spike is back planted. Kaboose on the push through B main, gets caught going for a leap. So again, a back and forth, but it's still Complexity at the disadvantage.
Envy looking to put the finishing touches on a Mona Lisa of sorts. I believe that would be 6 rounds in a row to send Complexity home packing. The spike, potentially on its last attempt, is going to be making its way over onto B at the hands of the Sage, but a little bit of hesitation. XP3 is going to get slowed up, but he's going to continue to work his way towards that anyway. Look at how Envy has played the map. Akis gets one. Akis gets the second one as well as XP3 and Frisco drop, and Complexity's tournament